Have you ever stopped to wonder if the years recorded on your birth certificate truly tell the truth about who you are today? Often, as we cross the threshold of 60, we passively accept that fatigue when climbing stairs or the difficulty of opening a simple jar of preserves are merely inevitable marks of time. But what if I told you these signs are actually whispers from a body that might be aging faster than it should? The great question hanging over all of us is not how many years we have lived, but how much life remains within our muscles, nerves, and joints to sustain our freedom to move. There is a silent abyss between the senior who merely watches life pass from an armchair and the one who maintains the power of a well-kept engine ready for new challenges and discoveries. At this very moment, your biology is telling a story that you perhaps haven't learned to read clearly yet, revealing secrets about your longevity that no common blood test can show. What we are going to explore today is not just a list of exercises, but a true home diagnosis of power and autonomy, capable of separating invisible frailty from the real functional vitality that resides within you. There is an ignored danger lurking for most people over 60, the belief that decline is a straight line, when in reality your human machine possesses reserves of energy and strength that can be awakened right now. Prepare to discover if your body is younger than your chronological age suggests, or if you are allowing a programmed obsolescence to silently steal your right to age with absolute dignity and physical control. It is common to hear that aging is a natural process of loss, a truth many accept without question. But what is rarely discussed is the abysmal difference between the time passed on the calendar and the real state of preservation of our organism. Millions of men and women over 60 live today in a state of invisible old age, where clear signs of functional decline are ignored as if they were merely inevitable side effects of age. This silence is dangerous because it masks the gradual loss of our physiological reserve, that health savings account that allows us to face illness or physical stress without completely collapsing. While society focuses on the aesthetics of wrinkles, the real battle for your independence occurs silently in the muscle fibers and neural connections that keep your body standing and in constant motion, demanding redoubled attention now. After 60, the human body enters a critical phase where specific biological phenomena begin to dictate the pace of our life trajectory, with sarcopenia being one of the most relentless adversaries. This is the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength, a process that, if not combated, drastically reduces our ability to perform simple daily tasks with vigor and safety. Added to this, we face immunosenescence, a natural wear and tear of our defenses that paves the way for systemic inflammation and makes cellular recovery much slower and more laborious than in previous decades. Understanding that aging is not a linear decline, but rather a reflection of the efficiency of our mitochondria and the integrity of the nervous system, is the first step toward reclaiming the reins of your own destiny. Without this knowledge, we become hostages to a biology that wears out prematurely for lack of correct stimuli. The true marker of youth in a mature person does not lie in the absence of gray hair, but in the maintenance of a robust functionality that resists the oxidative wear typical of advanced senescence. Vascular fragility and the reduction of neuroplasticity are real challenges. However, the human body possesses surprising plasticity even at advanced ages, provided that warning signs are identified in time for effective intervention. When we ignore these biomarkers of functional health, we allow our autonomy to be eroded day after day, transforming the dream of an active old age into a reality of dependence and constant physical limitations. We are here to change that narrative, transforming the paralyzing fear of old age into a metric of personal control and absolute bodily awareness. By understanding how your cardiovascular and nervous systems are operating today, you gain the bargaining chip necessary to guarantee your freedom to travel and live with total dignity. The great central conflict we face upon crossing the 60-year mark lies in a deeply dangerous cultural and psychological trap, the illusion that excessive rest and the saving of movement are forms of protection for the body. Often, without realizing it, we adopt sedentary habits under the pretext of taking care of ourselves. when in reality we are accelerating a process of biological obsolescence that corrodes our autonomy day after day. This silent error is what we call decline, programmed by omission, where the lack of physical and cognitive stimulus signals to our organism that it no longer needs to maintain its maximum power. What is at stake here is not just the vigor of an athlete, but your fundamental ability to remain independent, to climb a flight of stairs without losing your breath, or to stand up from a chair without needing external help, guaranteeing your freedom. Ignoring the signs that your functional reserve is decreasing is like walking toward a cliff blindfolded, believing that the fall is a fatality and not a consequence of accumulated daily choices. The real danger is not the passing of the years, but the loss of mobility and lucidity that turn us into hostages of others' care, transforming the desire to age with dignity into the fear of becoming a burden to loved ones. This conflict between the active mind and the failure of a body without maintenance generates a deep anxiety that can be avoided with awareness and preventive action. By identifying our weaknesses today, we stop being passive victims of time to become strategic administrators of our own biology, reclaiming the power to direct our lives with safety, vigor, and absolute independence from here on out. The first marker we need to analyze is your hand grip strength, something that goes far beyond the simple act of opening a jar or carrying grocery bags with ease. In the world of geriatric health, the power of your hands is considered a window into your body's total muscle mass and a direct reflection of the integrity of your musculoskeletal system. When hands lose that firm and confident grip, it is often a silent sign that the body is entering a state of frailty where sarcopenia begins to take root and weaken your overall structure. This strength is a vital biomarker because it correlates directly with your systemic vitality. A strong hand generally belongs to a heart and lungs that also work with superior efficiency. Observing how you manipulate everyday objects is the first step toward understanding if your biological age is aligned with the calendar. Failing to maintain adequate grip strength carries heavy consequences, as scientific studies show a clear correlation between weak hands and an increased risk of mortality from all causes in the long term. If you notice your grip is failing, you are facing a warning that your body's motor is losing the ability to sustain itself against the natural wear of time. To test yourself, observe if you can still squeeze a firm object or support your own weight for a few seconds. If it seems difficult, do not despair, as this is a reversible condition through targeted movements. Simple actions like using a hand strengthener or squeezing a tennis ball for a few minutes every day begin to signal the nervous system to rebuild that lost connection and strength. By strengthening your hands, you send a message to your organism that you refuse to surrender your autonomy. Our second pillar of youth is one-leg balance, a test that seems simple but reveals deep truths about the integrity of your entire central nervous system. Staying on one foot for at least 10 seconds requires a perfect orchestration between the brain, the vestibular system in the inner ear, and thousands of proprioceptors located in your muscles and joints. This test is a direct measure of your neurological health, showing how well your mind communicates with the body to maintain stability in a world that tries to pull us down. When this communication is fast and precise, it indicates that your neural pathways are still robust and that your biological age is significantly lower than your actual years. However, the loss of balance is often the first prelude to hidden cognitive decline and a dangerous increase in the risk of future fractures. To perform this diagnosis at home, try to stand on one foot with your eyes open and observe how long you can maintain the position without needing to touch the wall or furniture. If you find it difficult to reach 10 seconds, your body is warning you that the risk of a femoral fracture, one of the greatest threats to independence after 60, is unfortunately high. The good news is that balance is a skill that can be trained and restored with consistency, even if it has been neglected for many years. Incorporating moments where you stand on one foot while brushing your teeth or waiting for coffee can create new neural connections and strengthen stabilizing muscles. By reclaiming your balance, you are not just avoiding falls, You are preserving your mental clarity and ensuring you can walk with the confidence of someone who masters their own center of gravity. The third indicator of a young body is your natural gait speed, a factor many of us ignore until we notice others overtaking us on the sidewalk. The pace of your walk is a powerful indicator of your cardiovascular reserve and the efficiency with which your heart pumps oxygenated blood to every tissue in your organism. A fast and steady walk requires a strong heart, efficient lungs, and a nervous system that coordinates complex movements without tiring easily. When you maintain an agile step, you demonstrate that your biological machine still possesses a high level of aerobic capacity, one of the most accurate predictors of a long and healthy life. Walking slowly is not just a habit, it is often a sign that the body is saving energy because its internal systems are working at their limit just to maintain basic movement. Before we move on to the next fundamental pillars of your physical power, I want to take a pause to recognize your commitment to your own health by following this content so far. This shows that you value your autonomy and refuse to let time dictate the rules of your life, and that is exactly the spirit we cultivate on this channel. If you are identifying with these signs, or if you have already noticed changes in your own strength and balance, share your experience in the comments below. Your journey might inspire others in our community. Additionally, if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future guides on how to build a stronger and more conscious version of yourself. Together, we are creating a movement of people who choose to age with power and absolute lucidity in every decision. Scientific research consistently shows that individuals who maintain a fast walking speed in their 70s and 80s have a much higher probability of reaching exceptional longevity. This occurs because a vigorous gait forces the entire cardiovascular system to remain resilient and adaptable, preventing arterial stiffness that often leads to high blood pressure and other age-related complications. If you feel your step has slowed down, start by making a conscious effort to walk just a little faster during your daily tasks, even if only for one block. This simple adjustment acts as a natural exercise for the heart, improving tissue oxygenation, and signaling the body to maintain its metabolic efficiency. Remember that every step taken with intention and vigor is a direct investment in your future self, ensuring that your heart remains a potent motor capable of sustaining your dreams. Our fourth pillar is perhaps the most practical of all: the ability to sit down and stand up from a chair multiple times without using your hands for support. This test measures the explosive power of your lower limbs, focusing specifically on the quadriceps and glutes, the largest and most important muscle chains for human movement. Power in the legs is what determines your physical independence. It is what allows you to get out of bed, use the bathroom, or get into a car without needing someone to pull you up. When these muscles are strong and reactive, they act as shock absorbers for your joints, protecting your knees and lower spine from the chronic pain that often arises in maturity. Maintaining this strength is the primary defense against physical disability, as it ensures your support base remains firm and capable of taking you wherever you wish. To test your biological youth in this area, see how many times you can stand up and sit down from a sturdy chair in 30 seconds, keeping your arms crossed over your chest. If you can perform this movement with fluidity and control, it is a clear sign that your functional reserve is high and that your muscles still respond with vigor. If you feel difficulty or the need to use your hands, it is an urgent call to start strengthening your legs through simple squats, using the chair as a guide in your home routine. Strengthening the lower body is not about aesthetics, but about ensuring you will never depend on others to perform the most basic tasks of your existence. By building power in your legs, you build a fortress of dignity around your life, ensuring you will continue to be the master of your movements. The fifth pillar of our assessment is the acuity of your processing speed and physical reflexes, which are direct indicators of the health of the brain's white matter. Inside our nerves, a substance called myelin acts as an insulator, allowing electrical signals to travel at high speeds between the brain and the body to respond to external stimuli. In a biologically young body, this myelin sheath is well preserved, ensuring you can react quickly if you trip on a sidewalk or if a car stops suddenly in front of you. When reflexes slow down, it is a sign that your nervous system's communication network is starting to fail, which can lead to a loss of confidence when driving or walking. Staying sharp and reactive is essential for safety. but it also reflects a brain that still possesses plasticity to learn. You can observe your processing speed by noting how quickly you respond to unexpected events in your routine, such as catching a falling object or making a quick decision in traffic. A body that responds with agility is a body that still possesses a high degree of neuroplasticity, protecting you from the cognitive fog that many mistakenly associate with the natural passage of time. To keep the system sharp, engage in activities that challenge your coordination, such as dancing, playing with grandchildren, or practicing reaction games that force the brain to maintain its internal wiring. These stimuli prevent the gradual softening that leads to accidents and a diminished quality of life, ensuring your mind remains as fast as your will to live. By prioritizing your reflexes, you ensure your navigation through the world continues to be done with the safety and awareness that characterize a truly potent senior. To illustrate this reality, let's observe two common profiles, Mr. Alberto, age 65, and Mrs. Helena, who has already celebrated her 78th winter. Alberto believes that retirement is synonymous with total rest. Today, he feels a deep anguish, noticing that standing up from his armchair has become a Herculean challenge, always depending on the support of his arms so as not to waver under his own weight. In contrast, Helena, who never stopped walking vigorously and practicing small balance exercises while cooking, possesses the agility and firmness of a woman 20 years younger. While Alberto sees his world shrinking as his legs weaken, Helena travels alone to visit her grandchildren, proving that functional reserve is not a genetic gift, but a construction of constant habits. These real stories show that biological age is what truly defines who still commands their own destiny. It is fundamental to understand that the human body does not age randomly or by pure biological bad luck. Every limitation we feel today is the accumulated result of decades of silent choices. Functional aging is not a sudden event that hits us unexpectedly, but rather a progressive and often invisible process that manifests when our cellular energy reserve begins to seriously impoverish. We must look at our biology not as a victim of time, but as a historical record of how we treated our physical structure throughout the journey. Every movement we make with intention and every challenge we impose on our muscles function as an investment in a fundamental autonomy savings account. Therefore, understanding that decline is malleable allows us to stop being mere passengers of time and become the conscious architects of our own longevity and absolute physical dignity. Although signs of frailty can awaken a legitimate fear about the future and the possible loss of independence, it is essential to understand that the human body possesses extraordinary resilience even after 60 or 70. Every warning of weakness or lack of balance that we identify today should not be seen as a final sentence, but rather as a valuable opportunity for correction and biological renewal. There is still plenty of time to act and reverse much of the damage caused by inactivity or neglect, as modern science proves that muscles and neurons can strengthen at any stage of life. Simple and consistent changes in your daily routine are capable of generating a real and profound impact, allowing you to regain the vitality you thought was lost. Old age does not have to be a period of shadows. It can be a phase of conscious strengthening and continuous physical dignity. Reflecting on the future requires courage to face the real consequences of our current biological choices. For what happens if nothing is done is a shadow scenario that no one consciously wishes to inhabit. Without the active maintenance of our functional reserve, physical decline accelerates silently, inevitably leading to the loss of basic mobility, early cognitive decline, and a routine marked by frequent and emotionally draining hospitalizations. I want to congratulate you for reaching this point in the video. This demonstrates a superior awareness of aging that few possess today. I ask you to share this knowledge with family or close friends who also need to wake up to the importance of physical autonomy. Contrasting the scenario of abandonment with those who act preventively, we see a horizon of freedom and dignity where health is the base for continuing to live fully. Choosing prevention is ensuring your vital force is preserved. Perhaps the most surprising and counterintuitive fact we need to face is that your chronological age can be a complete biological lie, hiding a potential for rejuvenation that most conventional doctors rarely mention during a routine consultation. There is a fundamental turning point where we discover that the human body is not a machine that simply wears out with use, but an organism that adapts and rebuilds itself precisely under the demand of controlled challenge. Many seniors are surprised to learn that failing a balance test today is not a sign of the end of the road, but an urgent call to awaken neural connections that were merely dormant from lack of use. Revelations like how leg power can predict the integrity of your brain change our perception of aging, transforming what was once seen as inevitable decline into a strategy of functional control and power. For all this knowledge not to remain only in the field of ideas, it is fundamental that you start today to transform this information into practical actions within your home routine. Observe your body during common activities, such as the time it takes to get out of bed or the firmness of your step when walking, treating every movement as a small test of personal vitality. If you notice difficulties in any of the pillars we discussed, do not overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything at once, but choose a single daily adjustment, such as practicing balance for 5 minutes or doing 10 squats before lunch. Small, consistent changes, when applied with intention, have the power to reprogram your biology and return the physical safety that time seemed to have taken. The immediate utility of this diagnosis lies in your ability to observe, adjust, and strengthen your own functional base daily with total and absolute awareness. As we reach the end of this journey of self-discovery and functional diagnosis, it becomes clear that your chronological age is just a bureaucratic number, while your true power resides in the conscious maintenance of your biological machine. We learned today that signs like balance, grip strength, and gait agility are the master keys to an independent and dignified life, allowing you to make strategic decisions for your future. Small choices you make upon waking and moving determine if the coming decades will be lived with vitality or dependence. Now, I ask you a fundamental question. Which of these 5 signs caught your attention the most, and which one do you intend to act on immediately? Leave your comment sharing your results, subscribe to the channel to continue strengthening your longevity, and share this video with those you love. You possess the control over your own functional aging.